Sterling Holmes with Fan-Sided and Stack in the Box here, joined now by Pro Bowl wide receiver and youngest Lions player to have a 1,000-yard receiving season, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Amon-Ra, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. I am doing outstanding. And I know you guys have a really cool partnership with Little Caesars Pizza. And by the way, as a dude who lives down the street from a Little Caesars Pizza, I crush one almost every single Sunday for the NFL games. What do you have going on with them?
Yeah, so I've been, with Little Caesars for almost a year now. I did an awesome event. I would say at the beginning of this year, it was at in Arizona before the Super Bowl. The Love Kitchen event that they host to help communities in need. Handed out pizzas. Was there with a couple other NFL athletes, which was amazing. It was super fun. Just to be able to hang out with these people. Put a smile on their face. Actually, even handed out Super Bowl tickets to an individual and made his whole week. It was amazing to see. But no, it's been amazing. It's been a lot of fun. I actually just shot a little clip for their pizza pregame that they have going on. So I love pizza myself, so it was just a perfect whole situation for me.
Handing out pizzas and handing out L's, which you did to start this season. As you went into Arrowhead, you had to play the defending Super Bowl champs. It kicked off the NFL season. Can you walk us through what that is like? You're going into the Lions Den, as you will, defending Super Bowl champs, the start of the NFL season. Spotlight is all on you guys, the underdogs here. You're trying to make a statement. What was that like?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We didn't really have too much tape on. Obviously, they had the same coaches, but we didn't have any tape going into week one. We have to go from last year. They obviously got the new players. So week one's kind of always an unknown when you're trying to game plan and whatnot. But for us, man, we just went in there and we're going to stick to what we knew best, what we were doing in camp, what was working. And if things change during the game, we'd have to adjust. But it was a tough game throughout. I feel like as an offense, we could have been better. But like I said, week one is kind of tough. You're still kind of figuring things out. But like at the end of the day, we kind of figured out a way to win. Defense played great. Came up big when we needed it with the pick six, got stops when we needed it, and we, ended up finishing a few drives towards the end to kind of seal the game off. But atmosphere was amazing. That was my first time at Arrowhead, so the atmosphere was great. Lions fans showed out. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, you guys sit here at 4-1. You had a great into last year, right? That was 8 wins in 10 games. You just barely missed the playoffs. Then you have the home opener of the NFL. This to me was a coming out party for you guys, for the Detroit Lions. Now you're here at 4-1. What's it feel like being on top, right? Detroit hasn't had this for a long time. What's it feel like to actually have all this momentum behind you guys?
Yeah, it feels great. But for us, I feel like as a team, we're always we're kind of hunting for the next team. We're always worried about, being 1-0 this week. And once we finish that week, we're focused on to the next week. So we don't ever look too far ahead, which is something that I love about this team. We're always focused on the task at hand. And for us this week, it's Tampa Bay. We're not looking any further than them because they're a great team. I believe they're 3-1, so they've been playing great so far. And for us as a team, man, we're 4-1 right now, but we still feel like there's a lot of improvement that we can make as a team, as a unit, as an offense. For us, we feel like we still be better, even though we put up 42 last game. There's still so much room for improvement, and I think that's what the great part about football is. You can never really be perfect. You can always be better, and we're chasing that, and that's something that I love about this team.
I know you also speak German and French. Do you ever trash talk in another language to people just to really get under their skin? Are you just out there just dropping some German lines on them?
You know what? Not really, because they wouldn't really know what I'm saying. So I want them to understand what I'm saying if I'm going to talk some trash. So usually it's just English. But if I'm with my brother, somewhere and I want to say something to him and I don't want him to understand, I'll usually just say it in German because it's easier than whispering or whatever. So that's kind of comes in handy at times.
Yeah, ich spreche ein bisschen Deutsch.
Okay.
Just a little bit, like enough to
Yeah.
order beers. Dry beer, bitte, roadside bonds. I mean, the important things over here.
Right, right.
I want to ask you, you really had a good start to your career, right? You had over 900 yards as a rookie. As I mentioned earlier, the youngest Lions receiver to ever have 1,000 yards, over 1,900 yards in 2 years. sometimes you look around the NFL and it takes wide receivers a long time to really get going. How were you able to adjust so quickly?
That's a good question. I don't know. I just feel like the situation that I was put in, the coaches around me, I gave a lot of credit to Ben Johnson. He did a great, once he kind of took over as pass game coordinator, the second half of my rookie year, second half of the season, I started getting more targets. And for me, it was, I always knew I was able to play. I was just waiting for opportunity. And once they started, throwing me more balls, I knew that was a chance for me to really, you know, do what I had to do and never look back. And that's what I did. And ever since then, man, I've been trying to be better every day, be consistent in this league, and continue to win games for us as a team.
Do you ever think that the combine and some of those draft profiles are just unnecessary, a little much? I'm sure you look back at some of those scouting profiles, might be a slot guy, might be a backup. And then you look at the combine and you look at the 40 numbers and you ran what was a 4.59, right? It's not a 4.3, it's not a 4.4. And yet you were one of the most productive players in the NFL. Do you think at times people get so enamored by some of these players who are so out there who run these, elite 40s? They don't stop to realize that's great and all, but how much does that actually translate to the game?
Yeah, I think that's a big part of the combine. I think people they have to do their job at the end of the day. That's still their job is having to make those profiles, kind of analysis on players. But for me, as a player, you kind of understand. I can watch tape and tell you who can play ball and who can't. And I think that's what that's what the good talent evaluators are able to do. But like I said, people have jobs to do. They love a fast 40, someone that can jump high, run fast. But at the end of the day, it's what can you do on the field? And as like I said, as a football player myself, I don't really get too enamored by those numbers, like you said. I kind of can tell off someone's tape or just watching them play how good they are, how good they can be. But like I said, everyone has a job to do, and your guys' job is to write stuff. So that's what you guys do. And some people write certain things. They love the fast 40s, and that's just kind of how it is.
I'm gonna give you a chance to give some of your Detroit Lions players some love here. Who's the most underrated Lion on the team right now?
Uh, um, I'm gonna go with one of our linemen, Jonah Jackson.
There we go.
Yeah, I'm
The,
gonna
the
go with
dudes
Jonah.
up front. The
Yeah,
Lions, you guys, your offensive line's been incredible. I mean, just the transformation year over year. Finally, they're starting to get healthy too. But that's what stands out to me. Again, I'm here in Kansas City. I'm a Chiefs guy, so that was a tough L week one.
yeah,
But I also respect the hell out of you guys. You guys have built this thing the right way, and it all starts in the trenches. Your defense looking elite, your offensive line looking elite. I want to know about Dan Campbell too, right? Because you hear all the quotes. You hear all the he's out there, he drinks the copious amounts of coffee, but he also looks like a dude you want to run through a brick wall for. Can you give us a little behind the scenes of what Dan Campbell's like being your head coach?
yeah. Dan's an awesome dude. Everyone sees the media interviews of him. Things he says, they love the energy that he brings to the media when he talks to them. But for us, man, as players, he's um, he's an awesome coach just because he understands what it's like to be in this league. He's a player's coach. He played in this league. He knows what we go through day in and day out with the schedule, with practice, with meetings, with family back home, whatever it is. He understands all that. So he does a great job of putting himself in our shoes. But then again, he knows when to turn it on, and he knows what we need and what's best for the team. So that's something as players that we really respect. And he never changes, man. He's the same guy every day. When you see Dan, you're gonna get the same Dan, and that's something I feel like for me as a player that I really respect because some people in this business, like today, they'll be different guys one day than they were the next. So Dan's the same dude every day, man. You know what you're gonna get, and he's an awesome coach. He cares about all his guys. That's something that I really appreciate.
Yeah. If you're giving out your all-time NFL wide receiver Mount Rushmore, who's on it?
I'm gonna do everyone. I'm gonna do guys that aren't in the league right now. I'll go Calvin Johnson, Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, um, Two more. I'll go Larry Fitzgerald and
I know it's hard on the spot. It's so
all right.
hard
Yeah,
when you're put on the
I mean,
spot. You're trying.
there's so many. Shoot, let me just go. You know what? I'm gonna go Hines Ward because I like the way he played.
Oh man, that's
I'm
a
gonna go Hines
throwback right
Ward.
there.
Yeah,
Loved Heinz Ward growing up.
I'm gonna go
Uh,
Hines Ward.
I've always wondered this because this is too into the spectrum here. Do you guys ever care that much about PFF rankings or Madden rankings? Like, I know it's fun in Madden if you see yourself as a 95, 97. I get all that stuff. Does that actually ever bother you? And the same thing with PFF. When you see some of the numbers they put out, now typically you're pretty high in PFF's rankings, but in general, do you guys ever take that into consideration?
I don't. Every player is different, so I can't speak for everyone else. But for me, I don't really care too much about all that stuff. I know the media and fans and whatnot love to look at that. But in terms of Madden, I don't really play too much Madden, so I don't really care about that. And then the PFF, I don't even know how they grade that. I don't know where they get their grades from. I don't know how you can have so many grades for everybody who's grading it. I don't know how all that works, but yeah, I don't even pay attention to that. I can't. I have social media, so I see some of the things, but I don't. Like I said, I don't pay attention too much to all that.
Yeah. Before I let you go, can you tell us about the Little Caesars pizza pregame thing you have going on? And also, what's your favorite topping on a pizza? I'm a pepperoni man myself. The amount of hot and ready pepperoni pizzas I crush in a given week, it's astounding.
Yeah, yeah. So the pizza pregame is basically a thing that they're throwing at Little Caesars. You basically order pizza hour before the game starts. You can win some perks, and on top of that, you can enter a chance to win tickets to Super Bowl 58, which is awesome. Like I said at the event that I was at before the Super Bowl, we handed out some Super Bowl tickets, so that was awesome to see. But my favorite topping on a pizza, I'm a margarita pizza type guy, but I would say pepperoni or
Yeah.
sausage, one of those two.
Yeah, I get pepperoni on my pizza. I drink the margaritas. Come on now. That's where I'm at. Pro Bowl wide receiver and youngest Lions player to have 1,000-yard receiving season. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Amon-Ra, dude, really appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.